My name is Russ Shaw, and I'm the founder of Tech London Advocates and Global Tech Advocates. And these are organizations that are focused on promoting tech ecosystems like what we're seeing happen in London at the moment, and connecting to other tech hubs around the world. It's private sector led, it's independent, and it's all volunteer driven. So everybody who comes into the group is a volunteer actively wanting to promote their tech ecosystems. I think it's interesting given what I do, because I meet with a lot of startups and a lot of scale-ups who, many of whom I think are on the leading edge of where that next innovation will come from. And I think if I look at what's happening here in the London tech ecosystem, there's a huge amount of interest in Internet of Things. There's a lot of focus on artificial intelligence, machine robotics. I see things happening in what we call different tech verticals. FinTech and what's happening with blockchain, I think is going to be very exciting. Retail tech, creative tech. And the wireless aspect of that underpins all of it. A lot of my background is in the wireless space, and so when products and services are being designed, it's very much with the notion of, how do we underpin this with the seamless customer experience that wireless can provide. So as I think we look at all of these products and services going forward, for me, wireless innovation is that foundation on which all of these great initiatives are going to be built. I think for larger organizations, one of the challenges for them is really understanding how does that customer experience work. I see a lot of big brands saying, look, we want to become more innovative. We know that a lot of our services can be done through wireless. But they don't have the depth of experience in terms of how do you map that customer journey. And so part of what I try and do is encourage them to work with organizations like the WBA, to work with startups and scale-ups where a lot of that innovation, where a lot of the people are just thinking about this all the time. So that's one aspect of it. I think, for the smaller businesses that I come across who have the innovation, it's making sure that they've got the funding, they've got the support. Maybe they've got a few larger organizations who they can work with, because this is not a cheap journey. There's expense that's required, there's investment that's required. So making sure that startups and scale-ups have access to investment, have access to capital, have access to the bigger organizations who are driving this agenda is the win-win. How you knit that all together through networks and communities, that's what I spend my days doing, and it's very exciting, but it does take time and effort. And those larger organizations that understand that will benefit more rapidly. Yeah, I think, one of the things and one of the reasons why I'm here, I've been out of the day-to-day wireless and mobile world for a bit of time now, but one of the reasons why I'm here is I believe the whole agenda around convergence of technologies is one of the most critical roles that this organization plays. I used to work for O2 and Telefonica. I put mobile on Skype. And one of the things that we struggled with was that seamless movement across the technology platforms. And you have a lot of engineers, you've got a lot of techies, with some great platforms, but how do you bring that all together so that the masses will adopt it through a seamless experience? I'm very conscious, and I know it's part of the WBA principles, there's still a lot of people out there who are not connected and find it hard to get connected. And even active users and the masses who are now getting connected get immensely frustrated with their user experience. So having an organization like the WBA basically saying, look, convergence between IoT and 5G is really important. Convergence between licensed and unlicensed technologies is really important. One of the things that I see in my world is there's a lot of interest and excitement from all types of organizations around smart cities. And I think smart cities, however you define it, and there's lots of ways people define it, are a key part of our future. But if we don't have a converged technology platform that underpins what we want our smart cities to be, it ain't gonna happen. So that's why this organization plays such an important role, and that's why I would encourage people to come here to say, look, the convergence agenda that I see through this organization is absolutely critical to make it all happen. It may not always be glamorous, or it may be too technical. I'm not a techie, I'm not an engineer, and sometimes when I hear all about these different platforms, like, what does that one do versus that one? Oh yes, okay. It takes time to understand it. This organization can help people to understand it, but more critically, help people to understand the benefit behind what it all means.